batting third, my friend.
I think 509, 9 stolen bases for the pitcher. Hitter, dual threat. Could be an ace in the hole for the Axemen. An 0-1 count is Troy Clark. Readies himself to throw the next pitch.
Tough play here, Julian.
Throw to first. Clark doesn't get him in time. He's safe. And just like that, the Ravens have 2 Axemen on base.
I'm going to give him a hit there. He got the hit with his speed, I'm pretty sure, because that was a bang-bang play.
Nathan McCarthy stepping up to the plate. 2 McCarthys on this squad, Dylan and Nathan, playing on the same team. In Carleton, they have a pair of brothers themselves, the Burnside brothers, Ty and Ryan. So through these 2 games, we've seen 3 pairs of brothers. The Lagarde brothers at McGill, and the McCarthy brothers up in Acadia, and now we also have the Burnside brothers, who we'll see for Carleton. 1-0 count as Clark throws a ball to Nathan. 0-0 in the early goings of this first game as the umpire calls for time just as Troy Clark throws the pitch.
I think McCarthy called for time there and hope he granted it to him. Sometimes umpires don't give you that when it's that late in the pitcher's, how should I say this, wind-up.
Nathan McCarthy batting .344, 14 RBI in 19 games this season. The pitch from Clark ends up going behind home plate and a foul call.
Nice swing by McCarthy there. He's up there ready to hit. Definitely in a good spot here, first and second with 1 out.
Waiting the next pitch from Clark. Low into the dirt. Men still at first and second for Acadia. As Ethan Diamandis is catching for Clark today, look to see if he can get a throw up to second. Haven't seen many pickoff attempts in this top half. A swing and a miss from Nathan McCarthy. And the count is at 2-2.
Let's go.
Hearing the loud chirps, I believe from the Acadia side.
Yeah, the boys are up for this game, that's for sure.
Nathan McCarthy hits a dribbler. The second baseman can't grab it. And Acadia's going to run home. And just like that, the Axemen draw first blood.
Wow.
Dylan McCarthy comes in, and it's 1-0 Acadia.
That's an E4, my friend. We got a couple. This is what you do not want at the start of a game: is a couple errors, unearned. Carleton, as you see, the coaches in there giving them shaking their cobwebs out because that is a terrible start for the Ravens. Axemen are up now, and hey, it's good to have an early lead here in a tournament like this.
Not unfamiliar, as we did see in the last game. McGill took that early lead up on Concordia. 1-0 for the Axemen, as Ben Carson, not to be confused with the former Republican presidential nominee from a few years ago, steps up to the plate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julian McKenzie.
I don't think this Ben Carson's a doctor either. And a ball thrown by Clark.
You're going to be here all weekend, so...
Yeah, you got to get used to these.
The jokes are going to be flowing like wine.
Better get used to these. And that's also the first and last time I'll use the Ben Carson joke. You don't want to abuse these things.
No. Carson's got an interesting stance in the box. He's got his left foot out of the box, to be honest with you, so he's definitely way off the plate. So this is interesting to see.
Also, if you're wondering, Ben's name is spelled with 2 N's and not the common one you see as a strike is thrown. 2-1 count.
It's interesting. That might be a typo in the or even maybe it happens before in your birth certificate. I've seen the mess up of 2 N's and 3 S's or whatever you have you.
Carson hits one deep into right field.
Dropped
Goodness gracious, it looked as if it was going to be a catch, but it was dropped in the outfield. And the bases are loaded for Acadia.
That's another error. That's 3 errors now in this inning, my friend.
Kevin Park retreated backward and tried to get a handle on it, but he could not grab it.
Wow, talk about you travel all this way for a big tournament, and you have nightmares about an inning like this to start your tournament. So I tell you, the Carleton Ravens coaching staff are definitely pulling their hair out here at the top of the first.
Jaden Jones up at bat. Ball popped up in the air. It looks like it's still in play, and it's dropped on the ground, it looked like. It didn't look like an out.
He's out.
He did get it. Unbelievable. What a catch.
Play.
The umpire was blocking my line of sight, so I couldn't see if the ball was caught or not.
Nice play.
But an outstanding play by Ty Burnside. Ran that ball down, slid near the Acadia dugout, caught it, and an out. 2 outs. And Acadia trying to add more to their tally, but wow, yeah, I can't get over that play. We've seen, I have to say, through these games so far, we've seen some outstanding defensive plays.
Oh, for sure. And after seeing 3 errors and then a beautiful play like that, it's just the magicalness. That's a word of baseball.
Magicalness. we can go with that. Colin McLean up at bat for Acadia. No 1 count. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
So, here we are, 0-2, 2 outs. It looked like they were going to score a ton of runs here. All of a sudden, the Axemen are down to the last strike here in the top of the first.
They get the 1 run in. Bases are still loaded. And the 0-2 count thrown inside. It'll be 1-2.
If you're Troy Clark here and if you get out of this inning with only 1 run scored, you have to check that off as a good thing for sure, because it looked like it was going to get ugly.
Not to mention for Clark, he has the offense of Carleton. Some good hitters in Manny Restrepo, Bryce McRae, and the Burnside brothers up as Carleton gets the out.
You got to slide there, Julian. All right, well, that's it.
And that's going to do it for the top half of the first inning. The Axemen score the first run of the game. It's 1-0 as we await the start of the bottom of the first. Back at it here at Royals Field. Acadia taking on Carleton, the second of 3 games here at this ballpark on the opening day of the 2017 CCBA Nationals. Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here with you. The Axemen get the first run on the board, and they'll be up to pitch against the Carleton batters.
So leading off for Carleton Ravens, shortstop number 17, Manny Restrepo. Batting second baseman number 1, Bryce McRae. Batting third, DH number 20, Ryan Burnside. Batting fourth, catcher number 19, Ethan Diamandis. Batting fifth, third baseman number 11, Mike Heffer. Sixth, first baseman number 24, Ty Burnside. Seventh, center fielder number 25, Spencer Shelton. Eighth, left fielder number 28, Brendan Hale. Ninth, right fielder number 32, Kevin Park. And of course, starting is Troy Clark.
Manny Restrepo first up to lead off the Ravens. Ravens made it all the way to the finals of the Northern Conference against McGill. They lost both of the games in their best of 3 series. Still enough to qualify for nationals.
Harding looks like he's a crafty lefty out there. He kind of first pitch was kind of an interesting one. We'll see what kind of stuff he has here.
Wesley Harding in 6 outings, 2-1. having pitched 24 2/3 of an inning. An ERA of 2.27, 19 strikeouts.
Like I said, crafty lefty. Might not. He doesn't look like he's a dominant lefty, but he's going to get outs.
Another pitch from Harding. Still 1-0 for Acadia. And Harding so far, the only pitcher I've seen. I mean, we've only looked at 4 teams so far, but the only pitcher I've seen so far draw into the batting order.
Another thing too, the Ravens never seen Harding before too, so that might play into Harding's hands here because, especially a soft tossing lefty, they could be in trouble.
I mean, that's one interesting point to bring up here. I mean, these teams playing against each other as Manny Restrepo is safe at first, just beats the tag. It was a nice long throw from the shortstop, but it was not in time. But an interesting point from the way this tournament is set up. 6 teams, 2 groups, and each team is playing against teams in the other group. And more often than not, they find themselves playing against teams that were not in their conference and they don't know too much about. If you're a manager for a team like a Carleton or an Acadia and you have to find out about a team from out east or for back in Ontario, Quebec, I wonder what's it like? Are you just looking through the CCBA website? Are you tuning into some of the live streams? Like, how would you go about it?
Well, a little bit of everything. As much information as you can get out of the teams that you're going to play. Like you said, whether it be streaming the games, getting information from other coaches in the other conferences, just trying to bottle up as much as you can because it might go out the window once you get into the game, but it's nice to get a lot of information.
Bryce McRae up at bat for Carleton. 2-0 count for Wesley Harding. McRae gets a piece of it,
Another funny
stops it from going into the outfield. Can they turn 2? They get the 1 out. Restrepo walks away, but Bryce McRae, just like Restrepo did at first, he just beats that tag, and Ryan Burnside steps up to the plate at DH.
It took another funny hop, Julian. Like I said, the infielders are going to have to adjust to this infield.
Only 1 home run has been hit by the Carleton Ravens all season, and it came off the bat of the player in the batter's box right now, Ryan Burnside. One half of the Burnside duo on this Ravens squad.
Yeah, the wind's swirling. And at times it's going out to center, other times it's going to left center. So it's going to be interesting to see if the wind dies down, or we're going to have one of those swirling wind games here where fly balls are going to be an adventure.
1-1 count to Burnside. Harding throws to first. Tries to see if he can get the pick off.
That's another thing too. With Harding being a lefty, probably has a nice move to first, so Carleton Ravens going to have to watch that.
Popped up foul. Dating back to the last 2 games against McGill was hitless. He did come off the bench in one of those games. As Harding delivers the pitch. A ball thrown, 2-2.
Off-speed pitch there, Julian. I'm sure he's going to incorporate that into his arsenal as the game goes on.
Burnside batting .387, another foul from the DH. Batting .387 with 24 RBI. And as mentioned before, the 1 home run. 2-2 count. Man at first. Pitch from Harding, way outside, and we'll have a full count.
Harding took a little bit off on that one. This looked like a changeup.
The catcher, Ethan Diamandis, on deck. Burnside swings and a miss, and that's the first strikeout by Wesley Harding.
Like Nice job by Harding there. And snuck that one by him.
Back in the catcher, number 19, Ethan Diamandis.
Ethan Diamandis, the catcher, into the batter's box, batting .211. 15 RBI. Hits the first pitch he sees, and
That's
that
a
goes
gapper.
into center field.
See if McRae can run here.
McRae running to third. He's been given the green light to go home.
Oh, yeah.
And just like that, it's a tie game. Bryce McRae scores all the way from second, and the Ravens have scored their first run of the game off an RBI double from Ethan Diamandis.
Seems like we're going to have one of those games again, Julian.
I can't wait. I'm here for it. We're both here for it. Mike Heffer stepping up to the plate now. 227 is his batting average, 13 RBI. Or ribbies, as some people like to call it. There's a fun debate about how people should pronounce RBI. You know, people sometimes will say that he has 5 RBIs.
Yeah.
But you think about it, runs batted in. The plural was already in the runs.
Yeah.
So you can say RBI.
Nice
Swing
pitch.
and a miss from Heffer. That ball just bypassing the catcher, which will allow Diamandis to run to third. Dylan McCarthy couldn't hold on to that pitch from Harding.
See if Heffer can cash him in here. This is a parts of the games where you remember, and this could be a big part of the game here if he drives this guy in.
1-1 count. Harding with the pitch. Inside. 2-1 count.
Harding's around the strike zone, so Ravens are going to have to put that in their memory bank because he's throwing strikes and he's kind of in and out, up and down. So
The 2-1. Another inside pitch. There'll be a 3-1 count. Diamandis is at third for Carleton. Heffer still in the box. He has a hitter-friendly count at 3-1. Diamandis already encroaching towards home plate. That ball going towards the wall. It is out of here! A 2-run shot from Mike Heffer. And the Ravens have a 3-1 lead.
that ball looked like it was out of here right off the bat, Julian. Struck well, 3-1 count. Like I said, might be a big part of the game right there in the first inning.
Wesley Harding has allowed 3 runs in this opening inning. And Acadia, they felt a little high with that 1-0 lead.
Number 24, Ty
Are now behind 3-1. Ty Burnside is up at bat. You can hear the excitement from the Ravens dugout now, and that ball is foul as it's hit by Burnside. A home run, a 2-run shot from Mike Heffer. That's the second home run we've seen in this tournament.
I told you this morning, Julian, you might see some home runs this weekend.
I'm all for that. The pitch from Harding. Ty Burnside takes a 1-hopper thrown by the shortstop to first. And that's going to do it for the inning. A 3-1 game right now. Acadia getting the 1 run atop the first. And then Carleton tying it before Mike Heffer hits a 2-run shot to give Carleton a 3-1 lead as we head into the top of the second. Top of the second here at Royals Field. Carleton taking on Acadia, the second of 3 games here on day 1 of the CCBA National Tournament. Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here with you on the Bell TV 1 webcast. Thank you so much for joining us for the broadcast. Troy Clark returning to the top of the second. He's only allowed the 1 run for Carleton. They get the 3 runs in the bottom of the first, including a 2-run home run from Mike Heffer. First pitch thrown by Clark to start off the second is a strike as he's throwing to number 11, Greg Mitchell.
If you're the Axemen right now, you gotta reply back here. You can't wait any longer. I know it's only the top of the second, but you don't want to drag this out. You have to reply.
Greg Mitchell hasn't had too many instances at bat. He's used also as a pitcher as he swings and misses. 0 for 2 as a pitcher this year with an ERA of 3.74.
It's not bad for being 0-2.
Another pitch from Clark.
Ooh-wee. That was close.
It's a 2-2 count until Diamandis looked as if he thought that pitch was right and he was ready to throw it as if the strikeout had been thrown, but still 2-2. Outside. Full count now for Mitchell. Tiernan McDonald on deck for Acadia as Mitchell swings it, goes into left field, a pop fly that's easily caught by Brandon Hale. Here comes McDonald. Not the greatest BA, 175.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats for Acadia. During the regular season, the batting average isn't the best in the world for all the guys, but like I said, playoffs are a different animal, and they brought it together.
That's the encouraging thing about these postseason games. Heroes are born in October, not just south of the border for MLB playoffs, as Troy Clark has thrown a ball and a strike. 2-1 count.
Clark's kind of beside himself there. He's going to take a step back. Thought a couple pitches were strikes. Umpire Hope thought otherwise.
Acadia finished 4th in the Atlantic Conference as that ball goes into right field. Bobbled by Park. And a single. Or at least the hitter was able to get on the base. Tiernan McDonald.
The first baseman, number 8, Mark Mathias.
Mark Mathias, we return to the top of the order for Acadia.
He's 0 for 1 with a ground out to the shortstop.
Man on for Acadia. 3-1 is the score as Carleton getting the 3 runs in the bottom of the first. Troy Clark with the pitch. Low, ball 1.
Clark's been living low here. He's that's a good spot to miss. So if he keeps it there, he's going to get his strikes.
The Axemen allowed the most runs of any team in the Atlantic Conference. 114. They've already allowed 3 today. 92 runs for. They finished 4th in the Atlantic Conference, behind New Brunswick, UNB, which we'll see later, in Dalhousie, and St. Mary's. They led the conference with a 10-6 record, but because of a poor showing in the conference playoffs, that ball goes for a ball. Due to a poor showing in the playoffs, St. Mary's not at Nationals.
So Clark's kind of upset here. He's going to have to step back, take a breath. You can see a lot of frustration just in his body, mannerisms.
The wind once again starting to pick up a little bit.
Oh my God.
Kevin the Statsman has returned. I'm sure there's some other cool pleasantries we've got up here in the booth. I don't know if is there another funny text? Is it
no,
is it a gift for us? What is it?
It's just Kevin being Kevin.
There's nothing for us. As a walk is thrown by Troy Clark. Just like that, Acadia have men at first and second. Dylan McCarthy stepping up to the plate as both Tiernan McDonald and Mark Mathias are both on base. 1 out in the top of the second.
McCarthy reached on that error by the third baseman. He scored the only run for the Axemen so far.
The pitch. Ball goes right to Clark. It rebounds off his knees. He takes a moment. He throws to second. Gets the out there. And that might be as far as it gets for him. 2 outs. That ball rebounded right off of Clark. I think it might have hit him in the knees, but he was able to compose himself. It took him a minute. He pumped it for a second before throwing it to second base.
Yeah, good. Did well there just to gather himself. Just get the out, right? You want to get at least one out there. So here comes Harding.
Wes Harding, the pitcher, stepping up, batting third in this lineup. 2 outs.
Like I said, you got to reply here. At least score this run from third.
Men at the corners. The pitch, the hit goes foul.
Nice swing by Harding. Nice quick stroke.
Another talk between Clark and Diamandis. Just for a minute, Diamandis doing his best to settle down the strikeout leader for the Carleton Ravens. The pitch. Harding takes a hop before going into the glove of Clark, and that goes to first, and that will do it for the top half of the second inning. Still 3-1 between these two sides here on the Bell TV1 webcast. Carleton returning back to the batter's box. They scored 3 in the first inning. How much more can they add in the bottom half of this second inning? Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here on the Bell TV1 webcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to our coverage of the 2017 CCBA Nationals here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. It was a clear sky for the first game. Some clouds have come in as Spencer Shelton is up at bat for the Ravens.
If you're Wes Harding here, this has to be a shutdown inning. No more damage. Get your Axemen hitters up there again. Got to keep this at 3-1.
The pitch, a swing and a miss, and a strike called on Shelton.
Let's see another curveball here, Julian. Looks kind of silly on the last one.
Pitch from Harding just rebounds off the catcher, Dylan McCarthy. 2-2 count to Shelton. Shelton, Hale, and Park be the 3 batters up for Carleton.
Nice pitch.
Bottom half of the second inning. A strikeout thrown by Wes Harding.
Nice pitch by Harding. He was threw 3 straight curveballs, and he comes back with a fastball outside. It's the way to pitch.
Fielder number 28, Brendan Hale.
Brendan Hale, the left fielder, stepping up to the plate. 1 out. Still 3-1 in favor of the Ravens. The second place team from the Northern Conference at 10-7. $116 runs for the Ravens. It's about 38 less than the CCBA leading McGill-Redmond. They're the closest in terms of runs scored to McGill. Harding's already thrown a strikeout for this inning. Throws one way inside, just missing Hale.
If I was Hale here, I would take this first pitch, get set up for the 3-1.
3-0 count to Harding. Takes a strike. So let's see if he does as you say, Augie.
Might throw a curveball here too, God knows.
Pitch from Harding. Hale swings at that pitch. It goes out of play and foul. 3-2 count.
Another fastball away here, I think.
The pitch from Harding. Inside a strikeout. That's back-to-back Ks for Harding.
Well, Harding's feeling it now.
Hey, take a look. Let's go.
Kevin Park
Fielder number 32, Kevin Park.
up at the dish.
Park dropped that one in right field. I'm sure he wants to redeem himself here at the plate.
Pitch from Harding. Goes outside. Park doesn't swing at it. Ball one. Pitch from Harding again. A strike thrown.
Beautiful.
Park doesn't swing at it. 1-1 pitch. Park swings at it, gets a piece of it, it lands foul.
Harding's got a nice tempo here this inning. He's getting the ball, throwing it. He's not worrying about anything.
Kevin Park, during the regular season, .083 batting average. Not particularly kind.
It's a good chance to redeem himself here in the national tournament after having a so-so batting average in the regular season.
And a strikeout. Harding strikes out the side. And that's going to do it for the second inning. We enter the third. Carleton still up 3-1. Wes Harding dealing with 3 straight strikeouts.
Ravens in the Acadia in the top of the third inning.
Back to the top of the third. Acadia versus Carleton, the second of 3 games here at the CCBA National Tournament. Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here with you. 3-1 is the score for the Ravens. All the runs were scored in the first inning. A swing and a miss from Nathan McCarthy as the Axemen are down 2 runs. Troy Clark on the mound for Carleton.
McCarthy 0 for 1, but he reached on an error. Got stranded at second.
And that ball lands foul as McCarthy got a run to it, but once he realized it was foul, he realized, you know what, I got to get back to the batter's box here.
See if Clark got his composure back after being visibly upset last inning. So he'll probably settle down now.
Pitch from Clark. A ball thrown by the right-hander. 60 strikeouts during the season for Clark. Leads his team. Another one here as he gets his first of the afternoon. And he sits down Nathan McCarthy.
Comes Carson. He was the one that hit it out to right field to Park. And Park dropped it, scored that run.
Number 9, Ben Carson.
Ben Carson stepping up to the plate for the Axemen. As the wind once again starting to pick up, he takes strike 1.
Yeah, Clark looks like he's right back to normal after having a little bit of struggle in the second.
Hit into center field. Center right, I should say. Carson getting to first. He'll stay there. The team leader in RBI gets the first hit for Acadia in this inning.
Nice inside-out swing by Carson there.
The shortstop.
Hit it where it was. And
Jones.
here we go.
Jaden Jones stepping up to the box. Man at first. 3-1's the score. Troy Clark looking to get all 3 outs here. 1 out in the third inning.
Jones popped up to Burnside, made that beautiful play in foul territory in the first.
Pitch by Clark. And a strike called. Waiting the next pitch from Clark. Runner on at first. Pickoff attempt. Not in time.
Oh, Axemen are down 3-1 early here in the third. I don't know if they're going to do any movement. Maybe if it was a 3-2 ball game, 3-1. Might see Carson go, don't know, but He's probably going to stick there.
The pitch. Lands foul. Carson got that head start heading towards second, but that foul ball will keep him at first. Back into the batter box goes Jaden Jones. Waiting the pitch from Clark. Inside. And a ball 1. Game 3 of day 1 of this tournament taking place at 6:30 this evening. Atlantic Standard Time.
Yeah, it all depends on how fast this game is. Like, especially tournaments, they can run a little late, but we're hoping for a 6:30 start. We have opening ceremonies at 6 tentatively, but see what happens with this game.
Ball popped up in the air. Looks like it won't leave the infield, and it's a catch by Restrepo. So in the opening ceremonies here, it looks as if we'll have the first pitch opening ceremonies, whether they happen at 6 or not, by former Major Leaguer Jason Dixon.
Okay. Wow. That should be fun and entertaining.
Colin McLean at bat for Acadia. 2 outs. Clark throws the first pitch, a strike.
Yeah, Clark's throwing well now. He's back to normal. He's got throws a very heavy fastball. Little side arm action too, so it's herky jerky to say the least.
The 0-1 from Clark.
Tough play.
Little chopper to third, throw to first in time. That's going to do it for the top half of the 3rd inning. Carleton still holding on to their 3-1 lead. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Carleton and Acadia still doing battle in the second of 3 games on day 1 of the CCBA National Championships in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Julian McKenzie here with you alongside Mike Augustine. Manny Restrepo, we return to the top of the order for Carleton. Wes Harding, last time he was up, he retired the side with 3 strikeouts. He throws ball 1 to Manny Restrepo, the shortstop. 2 balls now. Goes outside, then tries to paint the corner inside. The pitch from Harding, and he gets a strike. Count is 2-1. Carleton playing tomorrow at 1 p.m. against Concordia. The Stingers losing a close one against the reigning champion McGill Redmond. And a strike 2 on Restrepo. McGill will play Acadia tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Restrepo takes the 2-2 inside. Looks like it hit him. And he'll go to first base.
Yeah, make sure you got your long johns on for tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. start. I probably will.
You mentioned before, I think in the McGill broadcast while we were just off air, I believe there are the Augie Long Johns.
Yes, with what is it? Not checkered. Plaid.
Yeah, plaid.
Yeah. Plaid Long Johns. Yeah.
Bryce McRae up at bat for Carleton. Manny Restrepo still at first.
Tell you what, Julian, I can't wait for this wind to die down.
Yeah, it's made itself apparent in these last few hours.
I'm sure the hitters don't mind, but feels like this old duck blind we're sitting up here looks like it's going to fall down.
See, like, that's the kind of stuff that would scare me as a broadcaster for you to say that, a duck blind. We see these blinds are right atop here. A swing and a miss from McRae, and the count is 0-2. But yeah, the way it looks here in this booth that we are, we're right behind home plate. The blinds that are here, the way they open towards whoever's in the booth, and they hang up atop.
Don't be afraid. They're hooked up. Don't be afraid.
But they are hooked up, apparently, according to Augustine. So I don't know if we should look up or not.
Let's not think about it.
We'll try not to here. At Royals Field, as Bryce McRae takes the ball, count is 1-2.
Once again, Hardy needs another shutdown inning. Keep this game at 3-1. Give the Axemen some hope in the top of the fourth.
A strikeout, the fourth one thrown by Wesley Harding.
Harding has 4 backwards Ks. That means they're looking. I don't know if they're picking up the ball good enough or not, but that's crazy.
Ryan Burnside up at the dish for Carleton.
Coaches always tell you, if you're going to strike out swinging. Carleton Ravens has 4 backwards Ks this game.
Strike one for Harding, who, even though the scoreline is in favor of Carleton, I think it's safe to say between these two pitchers, Troy Clark and Wes Harding, Harding has kind of looked like the better pitcher, especially in the last few at-bats.
Like I said, crafty lefties. There's something in them that I don't know what it is, but they seem to get outs, and it's fun to watch for sure because he's not overpowering anybody, but he's getting strikeouts.
Acadia, according to the schedule here, has to play 2 games tomorrow. They have the 10 o'clock game against McGill.
There he goes.
The runner goes to second. Tag not applied in time.
Wait a second.
Wait, they've reversed the call here.
He was off the bag there,
Restrepo,
Julian.
He looked as if that was the case. Restrepo was off the bag, and he's not happy about it. It was originally ruled safe. And then he might have just gotten off the bag, and bam, look at that. And out for Carleton, and here we go here. It looks as if the Carleton coach.
A fraction off the bag. And that's all it takes. Restrepo's gone. Hey, heads up play by Restrepo, and another heads up play by the infielder. I believe it was Jaden Jones that tagged him there.
One of the Carleton assistant coaches wanted an explanation for that play. And just like that, 2 outs for Carleton. And a 2-2 count now as Ryan Burnside swings and misses. Carleton had a chance to add some runs with Manny Restrepo on at first. He goes to second. He looks like he's safe, and then he's out. And all of a sudden, 2 outs.
Another tough play here, Jewel.
Burnside hits one to the second baseman. The first baseman can't grab it. He's safe at first.
That's a base hit. That was a tough play for Jones.
Mark Mattias at first. Couldn't hold on to that ball. And Ryan Burnside is at first as Ethan Diamandis steps to the plate.
Now batting the catcher, number 19, Ethan Diamandis.
Diamandis double in the first, run scored off the Heifer 2-run jack.
Came all the way in the first inning. In fact, all of these runs scored so far in this 3-1 scoreline have all come in the first inning. Bottom of the third now is Carleton. Man at first, 2 outs. Diamandis hits one into center field, and that's an easy catch. And we're about to go to the 4th inning. Still 3-1 between these two sides. Stay tuned as we'll have an interview with CCBA League President George Rigakos coming very soon here on the Bell TV 1 webcast. Greg Mitchell stepping up to the plate to start off the top of the 4th year. Carleton up 3-1 on the Acadia Axemen. Julie McKenzie here with you on the Bell TV 1 webcast here. Joined alongside CCBA League President George Rigakos, who also is the president of the Carleton Ravens Baseball Club. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. What a great day for baseball.
I have to say, this tournament, we've seen the outstanding game between Concordia and McGill to start off. And then this game here, which could be another great one as well, as Mitchell is thrown out at first.
Yeah. Well, Acadia's coming on strong. They upset St. Mary's.
Yes.
And took Dal to 3. So, yeah, it's going to be a good game. And, of course, the Ravens had their hands full with the McGill-Redmond out in Northern Conference.
Do you have an early prediction for the tournament so far? I know it's day one. Anything can happen here in postseason baseball, but an early prediction for us.
That wouldn't be politically wise, would it? I mean, look, you don't have to look much further. People can make their own assumptions, but McGill's a 3-time defending champion. I think they're on a 23-something game.
25 league game streak. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite impressive. So, yeah, you don't have to look much further than to think about who the favorite is, and it's quite logical to say the favorite's always going to be the defending champion. So
that ball landing foul as Clark still dealing for Carleton in this game. One thing I'm always curious about with this tournament, this is a tournament that has 6 teams divided into these 2 groups, and the teams that play these games in round robin, all of their games are against teams in the other group.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's to avoid the. I mean, people travel a long way. These teams travel a long way. They tend to want to play teams they haven't faced before. They're still going to end up doing that to a certain extent, but we want to give them full experience. And the groupings, the way they're set up, is intended to be, I think, going back, a way to make sure that northern teams get a chance to play Atlantic teams and vice versa. The only snag, of course, is when you have a host and you have to play around with that a little bit. But that's the general intent.
Still 3-1 in this game. Tiernan McDonald at first, as Troy Clark still on the mound for Carleton, as he'll go up against Mark Matthias as the top of the order for Acadia back in the game. Still 3-1 between these 2 teams, as we have myself, Julian McKenzie, and George Ragakos, the league president of the CCBA, here in the broadcast booth for the top half of this 4th inning. That ball hit into left field. It'll be an easy pop fly and catch for Brendan Hale. So we have the 6 teams in place now for this tournament. Another thing I'm curious about is what about efforts being done to possibly expand the tournament and open it up to more teams, maybe have some teams from out west? What efforts have been done in that regard?
Oh, well, there's been a lot of ongoing discussion. The teams out west play in an organization that's called the Canadian College Baseball Conference. And another error.
Another error there. We've seen quite a few errors from the infield, as Mark Augustine has brought up throughout the day. That infield has been quite tricky for the infielders.
It's going to be a difference maker, I think. Yeah. So the West, are we trying to get it? The West plays they have university teams and college teams playing each other, and they play a spring-summer session. So it complicates matters, but they are interested, and we have had discussions with them coming over here for the fall, and particularly a qualifying tournament out west to get these Western teams in here.
Waiting the pitch from Troy Clark. Man at second. Throws a strike on number 18, Wes Harding, the pitcher, who's thrown 4 strikeouts today for Acadia. Carleton has had a great run of their own. They finished 2nd in the Northern Conference. They lose the Northern Conference final to McGill, and they still qualify for nationals. What do you make of your team's effort throughout this season?
Well, I think this is a team that's on the move. We're trying to get better. We have a juggernaut to catch in the McGill team, and so it's a building process. This team is also young, and as you can probably tell, they get emotional. So they can ride a high and get really hot, or they're going to have difficulty.
Look at that now, men at the corners for Acadia, as Nathan McCarthy steps up to the plate off the single from Wes Harding. And we'll have a little, look as if we're going to have a little meeting with Troy Clark, but we'll have Nathan McCarthy up in the batter's box. Still 3-1 between Carleton and Acadia in the top half of the 4th inning.
What ends up happening when you are a fastball pitcher and you're throwing fastballs and getting ground balls you start throwing in things that you weren't accustomed to doing to try to get yourself out of innings and get the strikeout. But that's how errors factor into a changing the nature of a game.
Waiting the pitch from Troy Clark. Outside, ball 1. One thing that can't be overlooked from this Carleton squad, I mentioned it earlier on the broadcast, they have the second leading offense among all tournament teams. They're able to get their runs in from guys like Manny Restrepo. Ryan Burnside is a guy who can hit as well. He's hit a home run earlier this year. Very front-loaded attack, I find, in the batting order. You must be really happy to have such a dynamic offense as you have.
Yeah, it's getting stronger. The team is competitive when it needs to be, and then we can get some big hits and timely hits that can change the complexion of the ball game, and that's why we're up 3-1 right now. So it's important to have those guys in the lineup, that's for sure.
Troy Clark throwing the 1-1. It's caught foul. But also not to be overlooked, Troy Clark, 6 wins in the regular season. He's been doing pretty well today. He only allowed the 1 run. 2 losses, a save for him as well. Talk about the pitching on this team. How strong do you think this team is in terms of pitching in comparison to previous instances?
Every team in this league can have, if they have 1 or 2 strong guys, because the way the schedule works, can make a real run for it. And Carleton's certainly one of those teams that has the top 2 or 3 guys that can really go, and they're horses. That showed up against Concordia in the semifinal.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Troy Clark getting the strikeout to end the inning here. Sorry, end the top half of the inning. Julian McKenzie alongside League President George Rogakos. Thanks so much for taking the time to sit in on the broadcast and just answer these questions.
Happy to do it. And listen, Canadian University baseball is on the rise. There's a lot more interest in it. People are really taking notice of what we're doing out here. And we're looking to bring in more teams, not just from the West, but also other teams in Ontario. The Ontario University Championships just took place. They've adopted a one-team, one-loss elimination system, and it's not. If you know anything about baseball, it's not going to sit well with a lot of baseball people. That their regular season is not counting towards much in terms of their ranking, or nothing at all. So the CCBA sees itself as a caretaker for all of university baseball, and we don't want teams to stay or leave their university sport associations, but someone has to set up a national championship that goes beyond the provincials. And whether your team's from Quebec, Atlantic Canada, Ontario, those teams I think would be welcome and invited to participate in a national championship like this. It's quite an event, and I think Fredericton here is a great site. And thanks to Mark McNevin and all the folks here at UNB who've done a great job. I think these student athletes are really happy with what we have. Certainly, I'm really happy with what I've seen so far.
I have to agree as well. And Mr. Rogakos, thank you again for taking the time. We'll be right back here after this break here on the Bell TV 1 webcast. Back live after this short break. We return to the bottom of the 4th. 3-1 Carleton leading over Acadia. The Axemen down by 2 runs. Wes Harding, 4 strikeouts for the pitcher, who's also been hitting in the lineup today. Throws the first pitch to Mike Heffer, who gave the Ravens the lead that they have with a 2-run home run in the bottom half of the first inning. Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here on Bell TV 1 webcast. Thank you so much for joining us for our coverage of the 2017 CCBA National Championships, and a special thank you to League President George Rogakos for stepping into the broadcast booth and answering a couple questions.
Yeah, I mean, give me some time to shake hands and kiss babies around the park. So that's always good. Side note, 5Ks for Wes Harding.
5Ks for Wes Harding.
But let's get back into it here. Heffer.
Mike Heffer gets walked. So he has a home run and a walk to his tally today. And just like that, Carleton have a man on base. Ty Burnside up next.
The old-fashioned leadoff walk always seems to burn teams. See what happens here in the bottom of the 4th.
Harding. First pitch. Burnside showing bunt, but that lands foul.
Interesting here. We put the bunt sign on again here.
Ty Burnside, one half of the Burnside brothers. Brother Ryan bats third in the batting order. And he's in the DH spot today.
There's the bunt.
Another bunt shown.
That's a small mistake there. He squared around, and that was right down the middle. If he was going to bunt, that was the pitch to do it with. Now he's down 0-2.
0-2 count for Wesley Harding. Throws to first. Pickoff attempt was unsuccessful. As Harding prepares himself to throw another pitch to Ty. Ty calls for time. Takes a couple practice swings before he returns to the batter's box and faces the 0-2 pitch.
He's got to make contact here.
Another pickoff attempt.
Kind of botching the bunt attempts. He's now in defense mode. He's got to make some sort of contact to get that runner over to second.
The 0-2. A little high up. It'll be ball one.
Burnside 0 for 1. Grounded out to short in the first to end that inning. That's a balk.
And that looks like it'll be a balk. You hear the woes from the dugouts here.
No. Hold on, maybe.
Looks like maybe not. And
looks like Burnside called time.
And just like that, Andre Robidoux stepping out from his area to talk to the umpire. He's been known to get fiery during the Carleton McGill final series in the Northern Conference. He got upset over a call and was thrown out. And just like that, he's still arguing with the umpire here.
Yeah,
hasn't been thrown out as of yet. He's still debating it.
It seems like Burnside called time. Hope he granted it to him. That's why Harding kind of stopped his momentum. Kind of an interesting play there. It's one of those things where you think you've seen everything in the game and something like that happens.
And after a few seconds of speaking, a lot less animation from head coach Andre Robidoux.
I hope he's talking him down.
It's probably what it looks like here because, like I said, I've seen in the past from Robidoux, he's been fiery enough with the umpires. He got thrown out of the second game of that provincial final against McGill. He still wants more.
He doesn't agree with the. That's for sure.
Still not satisfied. So you have the umpire and another ump with him.
Yeah, looks like Harding's going to take a couple of practice throws. Just keep his arm loose.
Well, Robidoux is trying to get his money's worth without going over, getting thrown out. He's visibly not happy.
The dust has settled.
The dust has settled. Yeah, literally. That's can't get any more perfect than that with that analogy. The dust has settled here. And Andre Robidoux walks back to his dugout, not happy about how that non-balk was handled. But more importantly for Carleton, and I think they'll value this, he's still in the game. 1-2 count. Pitch thrown outside by Harding.
Hey, like I said earlier, Burnside's got to do something here. Can't waste his at-bat.
2-2. Burnside hits this one foul. Still 3-1 between these two teams. The Ravens leading Acadia. The pitch goes foul again.
Okay, see if Harding comes with a curveball here. He's thrown 3 fastballs in a row. Change the eye level here of Burnside. definitely go with the curveball here. Something off speed.
Man still at first for Carleton. Still a 2-2 count. Pitch from Harding. Ball goes over to the second baseman. Gloved easily. Throw to first.
Fancy.
A double play. Very fancy by the Acadia Axemen.
That's only 2 out.
It was a double play.
That's only 2 out. The boys are.
Whoa. This here, and yeah, no, you're absolutely right here. They only got the 1 out. It looked like a double play.
No, they got 2 out. It's only.
Only the 2 outs, yes.
Yeah. The boys got a little too excited.
I think
there.
they fooled me. so the Axemen, they all thought they completed the double play and they could all just go home. They ran all the way into the dugout, and the umpire had to say, "Hey, wait a minute. There's still an inning to be played here."
That's another thing. You thought you seen everything. There you go.
Well, I thought I could go to the bathroom off that, but I too was fooled. Spencer Shelton up at bat for Carleton. 2 outs. The pitch from Harding. Thrown outside. I always told myself I'd never get fooled by something like that, and it's actually happened on the first day of CCBA Nationals.
Sheldon's 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
One count. And a strike thrown by Harding. The 1-2.
Go West!
The pitch. Hits foul.
It's nice to see Harding settle down after that shaky first. Pitched well after that first inning.
Way outside. And a 2-2 count for Harding.
Another curveball here by Harding. Get out of this inning. Oh, changeup.
Changeup thrown here, but still no strikeout. A full count for Harding.
West!
The 3-2. That ball hit into center field. It's got some distance, but it's gonna drop to the wall. And Shelton will run to second. He'll go to third. He'll go unchallenged. A triple for Spencer Shelton. That ball going into center field, just going over the glove of Colin McLean, landing at the wall, and enough time for Shelton to run to third.
Yes, we've been talking about the wind all day. And as you can see, it just kept on carrying. Fooled McLean. That's a stand-up triple.
Let's go here! Let's go West!
Up at the dish now for Carleton. Brandon Hale smacks this one into center. Pop fly. Will it drop? It will into the glove of Nathan McCarthy. And just like that, another scoreless inning between these two sides. 3-1, Carleton still leading. All the runs coming from the first inning, and it's been goose egg after goose egg since then. Back at it here to start the top of the fifth. 3-1 is the score. Carleton still leading on the Acadia Axemen of the Atlantic Conference. Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here with you on the Bell TV1 webcast. The second of 3 games here at Royals Field on the first day of CCBA Nationals.
Little substitution here for the Ravens. Peter the Crow Loiseau out playing second base, number 9.
Peter the Crow Loiseau.
Well, Dave Loiseau used to be in the UFC. That was his nickname, so I just shot that in there for anybody that was listening.
So if you read his full name in English, because Loiseau is the French word for bird, he is Peter the Crowbird.
Well, hopefully we didn't make any of his family ticked off at us. So
Well, I just hope that's actually his nickname.
I hope so,
I'd
too.
love to know what his actual nickname is. Maybe he's the Birdman.
here's the crow right here. Got him.
And the Birdman is thrown out at first.
So Carson's the Birdman now. So we're making nicknames for everybody.
Sorry, no. Not yes, no.
22, Jaden Jones.
Birdman throws him out at first, I should say. Ben Carson's the doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson.
Jaden Jones, I don't think we have a nickname for him. I don't think we need
Well,
one
it's-
necessarily.
It's still early.
He's at bat for the Axemen. And a ball thrown by Troy Clark. He's only allowed the 1 run. Doesn't have the strikeouts that Wes Harding, his competitor, has, but he still has allowed the 1 run.
Yeah, he's been in and out of trouble, but pitched his way out of it.
Go, Bob. Here we go.
2-0 count. And a strike thrown by Troy Clark.
Seems to change his arm angle once in a while just to kind of get the hitter confused a bit. It's nice to see.
A hit over to the second baseman. And another out.
It's funny like that. You come in, you're a sub, and you get 2 ground balls to you. Seems like the ball always finds the substitution. It's weird.
The Peter Loiseau, or the Birdman if you prefer, has held his own in the infield. Colin McLean up at the dish. The pitch from Troy Clark. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
McLean 0 for 2. Grounded out to the third baseman in the third and was involved in a forced play in the first inning.
The pitch from Clark. McLean makes contact. Still in play. Could be caught for an out. And it is. A 1-2-3 inning. And just like that, we go to the top of the 5th. 3-1 is the score. The Ravens still lead the Axemen. Kevin Park to lead off the bottom half of the 5th inning for the Carleton Ravens. Julian McKenzie, Mike Augustine here with you on the Bell TV1 webcast. Live from Fredericton, New Brunswick for the CCBA National Championships. Day 1 of the tournament, the 6-team tournament. Today we see the Axemen and the Ravens do battle in their first game.
Park 0 for 1 with the strikeout looking in the second. A little bit of dust in the eye for that pitch. That always sucks when you're ready to hit and all of a sudden dust comes up flying at you.
Absolutely. 1-1 count for Park. The wind appearing at times, and we see the dust from the field raising as a result. The 1-1 pitch from Harding. Looked like Park may have gotten a piece of it.
Yeah, it seemed like it nicked off the end of his bat there.
2-2 count.
See if he drops a curveball in here for another strike 3 looking. Catcher setting up inside, maybe a fastball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another strikeout for Wes Harding.
Yeah.
Harding's been dealing 6 strikeouts for the pitcher. Aside from the fact he allowed those 3 runs in the first, he has been pretty much lights out for Acadia. Just that his team hasn't responded with the offense he needs. Speaking of offense, Manny Restrepo, the shortstop, returns to the batter's box for Carleton. We're back to the top of the order. The pitch from Harding.
Yeah, Harding just doing his job. After giving up those 3 runs in the bottom of the first, he's shut down the Carleton offense. Just needs, like you said, the Axemen offense have to do something for him.
Manny Restrepo got a piece of that. It lands foul.
Strepo's pretty swift at shortstop. I've seen a couple of plays that he made. He's got a strong arm, soft hands. It's what you want in a shortstop.
Good base runner as well. Leads the team in stolen bases with 19. And bats .455.
It's my kind of leadoff.
The pitch to Burnside. Sorry, excuse me, to Restrepo. The swing and a miss.
That looked like a changeup there. Nice pitch.
Awaiting the 1-2 from Wes Harding. Restrepo makes the hit into the infield. He's thrown out at first by Mitchell. Peter Loiseau, who came into the game at the last inning, came in place of Bryce McRae.
And the second baseman, number 9, Peter Loiseau.
It's a nice play by Mitchell, playing in. Got the right hop there. Had plenty of time to get Restrepo.
Awaiting the 1-0 from Harding to Loiseau. And a strike thrown.
Late movement too, Harding. It's definitely a pitcher out there. It's fun to watch.
The 1-1. It beans right off of Loiseau, and he'll take first base.
Comes the big bopper, Burnside. 1 for 2, the single.
Designated hitter number 20, Ryan Burnside.
Leads the team in RBI with 24, batting .387 during the season.
Just from his demeanor, he looks like a hitter. He looks like he's relaxed up there.
Lets that one go high up. Awaiting the pitch from Harding again. One's a lot lower. 1-1 count. It's 2 balls, says the umpire. Thought the first one looked a little high. The pitch from Harding way outside, a 3-0 count. Sometimes the hey, no, you're seeing the pitches from behind the
The
plate
post.
here. Sometimes, yeah, the
Behind the
dreaded
post.
black post. That ball hit foul and it goes out of the park.
Oh man.
3-1 count. Ethan Diamandis on deck for Carleton.
Green light for Burnside here. See if we see some fireworks.
The pitch from Harding. Hit into the second baseman, throw to first, gets him out in time. And just like that, it is still 3-1 after the first inning where we see 4 runs total being scored by both sides. We've had nothing but scoreless innings since. In the second of 3 games here at the first day of CCBA Nationals on Bell TV1 webcast. Greg Mitchell leading off for Acadia, the top of the 6th inning. Julian McKenzie here with you with Mike Augustine on the Bell TV1 webcast. 3-1 is the score. The Carleton Ravens in their first game of the CCBA tournament against the Acadia Axemen.
This game rolled along nicely, Julian. Seemed like we were going to have another wild and free one, but now we're down to a kind of a pitching duel here between Clark and Hardy. They pitched well, in and out of trouble.
Ball hit into center field.
Ooh.
What a catch out in center field by Shelton Spencer. He was running onto the ball, kind of lost his balance as he came down with it, and he manages to hold on to it for a great grab.
I didn't know your body can do that.
I didn't know your body could contort that way either. And Shelton coming down with it. The most important thing for the Ravens is that the ball was caught.
Like you said earlier, we've seen some really nice plays by the outfielders and and the infielders. Now, we've seen our fair share of errors as well, but that's baseball.
Hey, let's go.
An 0-1 count to Tiernan McDonald.
He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles in the 9-hole.
Looks like he might get his 3rd single of the day. As that ball goes into center, the infield can't get it. He's 3 for 3 now.
That's nice to see. I always like to see the guys in the bottom of the order doing their job, so I'm sure he has a little bit of speed here. You might see him going. See what happens here.
Mark Matthias at the top of the order for Acadia.
Oh yeah, McDonald's a base stealer. He's down low. He's ready to rock.
Strike thrown by Clark. Harding leads the team in stolen bases for Acadia, but Tiernan McDonald right behind him alongside Colin McLean, tied for 2nd on the team with 7.
Call time here. Yeah.
0-1 count. Troy Clark with the pitch outside. The Acadia Axemen dugout, loud and lively.
You got to send McDonald here sometime in this at bat. Getting into that time of the game.
The 1-1 from Clark. Strike 2. McDonald still hanging around first base.
No sign. He must have the green light. Their base coach didn't really give any signs.
2-2 count. Had no runs since the first inning between these two teams. Some base runners have been stranded, but we've marveled at the pitching duel we've seen between Troy Clark and Wes Harding. Still a 2-2 count between Troy Clark and Mark Matthias.
Matthias 0 for 3 in this game.
The pitch
There he goes.
in the dirt. And just like that, Tiernan McDonald steals a base.
So, here we are. Full count. 1 out.
Pick him up, hey, let's go.
Got to get this guy in somehow. See what Matthias can do here.
Matthias staring down a full count from Clark. The pitch from Clark. Swing and a miss, struck him out.
Good job by Clark. Bearing down. Here comes McCarthy now.
3 Ks for Troy Clark.
So McCarthy is 0 for 3. Reached on an error twice. Once in the first, the other in the fourth.
Dylan McCarthy swings at it. That ball lands in the infield. Throw to first. Gets him in time.
Whoa, what happened there?
Wait a minute. Did he get him? Yes, he
Got
did. It looked a little shaky there. It was supposed to be set. Then you get the shakiness. But the Carleton infield holding firm. And just like that, it is still 3-1 as we enter the bottom of the 6th inning. Ethan Diamandis leading off the bottom half of the 6th inning as Carleton returned back to bat. We apologize for anyone who had to see Craig Hope dance in front of the stream here. The home plate umpire tries to get his kicks in whenever he can.
I'm surprised the camera is still working.
Fortunately for us, it is. But yeah, I imagine these things are very difficult to replace as Ethan Diamandis swings and misses. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mikey, but I mean, we have quite the few cameras out here. We have one right by home plate. We have another one just right next to the
First base line.
First base line. We have another one right behind the dugout for Carleton as that ball is hit into right field. A single for Ethan Diamandis. So we have all the different angles,
all the angles
to watch all the games here on the Bell TV1 broadcast here.
So here comes Heffer. He hit that big 2-run jack in the first. Walked in the fourth, so he's 1 for 1.
Mike Heffer scored the go-ahead 2-run home run in the first inning. And that was the last time we've seen any scoring in this contest. As Wes Harding, despite that first inning, as that ball hit over to the third baseman, throw to first, he's out. Despite that first inning from Harding, he's done a great job.
We said last game, starting pitchers, they always sort of struggle in the first and they find themselves after that. And this is what happened with Clark and Harding. They struggled a bit in the first and they found their groove and now they're just rolling.
Ty Burnside stepping up to the plate. Diamandis is at second. The pitch from Harding.
Okay. Our stat man just gave us a little tidbit. Harding's at 97 pitches right now.
That ball hit in the left field. It's going towards the wall. That's gone.
Woo!
Just like that, Ty Burnside hits a 2-run shot of his own, and it's 5-1 Carleton.
That got out of here in a hurry, Julian.
Absolutely.
My, oh my. That's the ballpark here. The wind's blowing out. It's not a very big ballpark either, so.
Tiernan McDonald out in left field saw it up in the air, and I think once it started going to the wall, he didn't even bother chasing. That one was gone.
Well,
and now both Burnside brothers on this team can say they've hit a home run this year. Ryan hit one earlier in the year against McGill. Mike Heffer hit one earlier today, and now Ty Burnside hits a home run as we'll see the end of Wes Harding, who aside from those 5 runs allowed today, he did the best he could for the Axemen, striking down players left and right.
yeah, just those two mistakes, 2 home runs, and other than that, he pitched well. So we got 33 Ferguson.
Adam Ferguson stepping into the game in relief of Wesley Harding. A 2-1 record for Ferguson. He's pitched 26 and 2/3 innings and has an ERA of 2.89. He's allowed a home run.
Where's he going?
Center.
Center?
Yep.
And it looks as if that Wesley Harding
He's going to stay
will
in
actually
center,
stay in the game. He will not be taken out of this game entirely. Remember, he's still in the batting order as a batter,
Yeah.
and he will move to center field.
Yeah, you want to keep his bat in the lineup. No, it sounds kind of kooky, but
So
guy like that, you want to keep him in there, and
Mambo, where are we staying?
especially in a tournament like this.
Howard Johnson?
so you'll have him in relief of Colin McLean, who was previously up at center.
Yeah, Ferguson's going to hit for McLean, and he'll be 5th in the lineup in the 7th. So away we go here. Spencer Shelton is going to face Ferguson.
Shelton hit a triple last time he was up here.
Shout out to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass for that song.
That's the band who's done that song? I've never known that.
Herb Alpert, one of my favorites. Shout out to Courtney Augustine.
I've never known that. The Bell TV1 webcast here, you learn something new every time. That ball hit into center field. Shelton will stay at first. Shelton hit a triple the last time he was up, and now he has a single.
He has a good game, too. It's going to be tough to pick a player of the game here. There's Carleton, a couple home runs, a couple players with 2 for 3 games, so.
I think you have to look at either Mike Heffer or Ty Burnside. Both these guys hitting 2-run shots.
Lean with Heffer here. But this game's not over yet, my friend.
Absolutely not. Still in the bottom of the 6th. 5-1 game. Ball hit in the left field by Brendan Hale. He'll get the single off of it. And Spencer Shelton will move up to second. And Andre Robidoux will take another.
16 for
Took
32.
another walk to the umpire just to make the substitution. As Alex Lajeunesse steps up to the plate.
Number 16, Alex Lajeunesse.
Lajeunesse batting .273 for the season. And he let strike 1 go.
Yeah, it wasn't Park's best game of his career. 2 strikeouts, and he dropped that ball in right field, so he'll have some time to rethink. Tomorrow's another day.
Tomorrow is another day, and a whole slate of baseball games up ahead, as from 10 a.m. onward, 4 games on, including 2 for Acadia. Acadia will play in the morning against McGill, and then at 4 p.m. they have a game against Dalhousie, so they have a doubleheader. 1 p.m., Carleton and Concordia will play against each other, and Carleton will play again at 7 against UNB.
It's going to be a fun day tomorrow, my friend. I know there might be 4 games on Saturday with the tiebreakers, but buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride tomorrow.
It looks like it will be. As Dalhousie and Concordia will play Saturday, UNB and McGill in the afternoon, and there are 2 tiebreaker games in place. 4 p.m. would be tiebreaker game 1, and then tiebreaker game 2 would take place at 7 o'clock on the Saturday. And then Sunday, you have the 2nd and 3rd place game and the 1st and 4th place game taking place in the morning and the afternoon. The final between the winners of both games at 6 p.m. Swing and a miss. As Adam Ferguson finds himself in a position where he's dealing a full count.
Yeah, you don't want any more damage here. You're going to keep it at 5-1. Uh-oh.
That ball hit in the center field. It drops. And it'll be a bases-loaded situation here as Spencer Shelton opts to stay at third. Another single here.
Harding seems like he's playing a little bit too deep out there in center field. I know the wind's blowing out there, but I don't know. I might play him a little bit in, but what do I know? I'm sitting up in the booth.
It's not too late for a managerial career.
Well, I dabbled, but I wasn't the best first base coach in the league, so I got axed.
You're just going to lament about past jobs here? I thought this was supposed to be a fun broadcast, not a sad one. If it helps, you have a better chance at a managerial career than I do. I think I'm better off just being in broadcast booths from here on out. As the Axemen meet with Ferguson just before Manny Restrepo takes to the plate.
Restrepo 1 for 3 with a single in the first inning. This is it's one of those big at-bats we always talk about. This is a big one. Keep the Axemen at 5-1 here.
Hey, three! Oh, Fergie!
Ferguson with the wind-up, the delivery. Ball 1. Still 1 out.
Let's go. Let's roll some. Let's go.
Carleton's added 2 runs in this inning, courtesy of the
Ball 3.
home run from Ty Burnside. Another pitch from Ferguson, low. Was in the dirt, and for a moment, Dylan McCarthy couldn't find it.
It's a scary moment for a catcher when you can't find the ball and it's at your feet. Your heart almost drops into your belly button.
Another pitch low, 3-0 count now. Ferguson in danger of walking
Yeah.
in another run.
Yeah, he's got to battle back here.
Another low one, and Restrepo will take first, which means Shelton will score from third. And the bases are still loaded as Peter Loiseau steps up to the plate. It's now 6-1 in favor of Carleton in the bottom of the 6th inning.
I think that's it for Ferguson. Yep.
Adam Ferguson looks like he's getting yanked as the wind picks up here. And the Axemen started off with that 1-0 lead, and they've since been battered with 6 unanswered in this contest. Adam Ferguson's day is done. We wait the next pitcher for the Axemen.
Looks like it's number 20. Yeah, number 20.
Greg Zenwert.
Greg Zenwert.
0-1 on the year, an ERA of .583, only 6 innings pitched.
Seems like Mr. Zenwert is in mop-up duty here in the bottom of the 6th. Just want to keep this game at 6-1, give the boys a chance at the top of the 7th.
Still 1 out for Carleton. You look at this game here for the Ravens, it looks as if they're going to be in cruise control for this game. That being said, anything can happen heading into the 7th here.
Yeah, we saw it last game, right? It was 7-1 for McGill.
Yes.
we were toasting each other, saying this game's over, and all of a sudden came back to 7-6. So you just never know. Axemen are they're gamers, so they're going to play to the final out. That's for sure.
It's been a remarkable year for them in spite of their record.
It's a fun story, really, when you get down to it. You know, it was the underdog beating St. Mary's in the first round, and getting a chance to play in the Nationals. I'm sure the boys they'll be ready to play the rest of this tournament. That's for sure.
Ended the Atlantic Conference season with a .511 record. They knock off the top-ranked St. Mary's from the playoffs, and by effect from the Nationals.
Second baseman number 9, Peter Loiseau.
And here comes Peter Loiseau against the Axemen. The Axemen down 6-1, but still trying to give themselves a fighting chance.
Loiseau beamed in the 5th inning. Oh,
And
look
a
at this.
wild pitch thrown, and a 7th run will come in off the wild pitch from Zenwert.
Not what you wanted. Coming in relief. First pitch is wild.
Zenwert throwing that way out of the reach of Dylan McCarthy.
I'm sure nerves has something to play into this. Coming in with the bases loaded.
The 1-0, another wild one, but that's caught by McCarthy. Another opportunity, potentially, to drive in more runs. The pitch from Zenwert, way more control on that one. But still a ball, 3-0.
Yeah, he's taking a step back, taking a breath.
The right-hander throws, and he throws a strike to Peter Loiseau.
Infield's playing in too here, Jules.
The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. He's battling back in the count here. Zenwert trying to find his sea legs.
Got him.
He gets him. He starts off rough on Loiseau, but he battles back and he gets the strikeout. And just like that, Zenward gets his first strikeout in his relief appearance.
Hold him to sleep with the first 3 pitches and came back and got him.
Ryan Burnside up at bat now. He narrowly avoids the pitch from Zenward.
Burnside 1 for 3 today with a single in the 3rd.
Swings and a miss. 1-1 count.
Burnside, he's talking to himself now. That's not a good sign.
Let's go, Greg.
The pitch way outside. Ethan Diamandis was looking to come home from 3rd, but once he saw that ball go in as a ball, he retreated right back to 3rd. Pitch from Zenward. Swing into center. That one's got distance. Off the top of the board and out.
Woo!
And they're ruling it a home run.
Oh, that's a home run, my friend. That one had hair on it, I think.
Look at that. A big one from Ryan Burnside. Hit the top on a 3-run shot. And now both Burnside guys have home runs in this game.
Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs here in the 6th.
Ethan Diamandis.
19, Ethan Diamandis.
2 out, bud. Let's go.
Take a ball. It's at 10-1 now. I know in the regular season, if a team is up by 10 runs past the 5th inning, they call in the mercy rule. A little unsure whether the CCBA national rules still have that rule in.
I believe so, my friend. If they get one more run, this game's over.
This game would be over. And that ball hit into the outfield. Diamandis hitting that ball right past Ben Carson. Couldn't glove it in the infield. And a single, still 2 outs. 7 runs brought in by the Ravens in this 6th inning.
Wow, I wasn't really expecting this. This onslaught here in the bottom of the 6th. We were saying before this inning things were rolling along, and suddenly the Axemen are in deep trouble here.
Zenward throws one low and outside. This is an inning that started with, you go in with the 3-1 score line. Wes Harding eventually moved to center field. And all of a sudden, the Axemen have allowed 7 runs off of 2 relievers they've brought in. First, Adam Ferguson comes in, and then they replace him with Greg Zenward.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before Burnside was going to get a hold of something.
A 3-run shot from Ryan Burnside, and a strike thrown by Zenward. So in this game alone, we've seen 3 home runs. A 2-run shot from Mike Heffer in the first. And then later on, a 2-run shot from Ty Burnside, and then a 3-run shot from Ryan. And another misplay by the infield, but the Axemen are able to recuperate and end the inning. 7 runs scored by the Carleton Ravens as we enter the top of the 7th. 10-1 is the score here on Bell TV 1 webcast. Top of the 7th here, Carleton versus Acadia. It was a close game for the most part, but a 7-run explosion in the bottom half of the 6th inning brings us to the current scoreline of 10-1. Troy Clark in line to pitch a complete game here en route to a victory. Throws the first pitch. It's hit foul by Wes Harding, who before that 6th inning pitched a pretty good game himself with 6 strikeouts. Harding in the batter's box. Since been moved to center. That's another swing and a miss.
Well, Clark frustrated in the second inning, I believe, and he took a step back and took a breath and got out of that inning. Since then, he's been pretty well cruising, actually. A couple hits here and there, a couple errors, but he's done well.
1-2 count. Gets a piece of it. Clark snags it, throws it to first. That's one out. Nathan McCarthy stepping up to the plate for Acadia. Just as the inning was about to start, two changes made by Carleton. Jordan Harcourt stepping onto the field for Alex Lajeunesse, who came in. And then you have
I believe we got
John Kalivas
going into center for Shelton.
stepping in for Spencer Shelton.
McCarthy 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the first.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Troy Clark looking to retire the side here. Put the game on ice. Foul ball hit by Nathan McCarthy. Ben Carson on deck for Acadia.
If you're Acadia, you just want to hold on here and maybe string together a couple hits. I know it's 9 runs. But just keep things positive for the next game.
Be a busy game for them as they play twice tomorrow. As does Carleton. It'll be a busy day for both these two teams. 2-2 count.
Yeah, a tournament like this, somebody has to get the... What's the word? The bad end. I didn't want to swear. The bad end of the stick. Sure enough, Carleton's got to play 2, and Acadia's got to play 2 tomorrow.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. And a strikeout thrown by Troy Clark. Acadia down to their final out.
Carson 1 for 3. Single in the third. Reached on an error in the first.
Doesn't get any easier for the Axemen tomorrow as they'll take on McGill in the morning. That ball dribbles towards the infield, throw to first, and that's going to do it for the game. The Carleton Ravens score 10 on the Acadia Axemen, en route to a 10-1 victory here at the CCBA National Baseball Championships.
Well, they brought their bats for game 1. Burnside boys with a couple of home runs. Heifer with that big home run in the first. These guys can hit.
Should be a fun offense to look at going forward. They put up the 10 spot. They have games tomorrow against Concordia and against UNB tomorrow evening. Speaking of UNB, stay tuned for their game, the third and final game of day 1. They play Dalhousie. Estimated time is at 6:30. We'll see with the updated time what it might be, but we will also have the opening ceremonies of the tournament. Former Major League Baseball player and current Canada Baseball president Jason Dixon will participate in the first pitch opening ceremonies, which are due to start at 6 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. On behalf of our webcast crew and for Mike Augustine, my name is Julian McKenzie. Thank you so much for tuning in to our webcast. Stay tuned for more baseball coming at about 6 o'clock.